Boys, I said it 3 weeks ago before the Regulation F ladder drop. I said it 2 weeks ago when the Regulation F ladder did drop. I said it last week after the 700 player Tommy's Tuesday tournament. I said Incineroar would soon enough be knocked off the #1 usage spot by Flutter Mane. And what do you know, boys, in the last 3 days, we've had 3 events, or technically 4, with 100 plus players, and in all of them, Flutter Mane was the #1 most used Pokemon. But boys, before we jump into it, I just want to say a quick Happy New Year's to everyone. You know, obviously 2024, at least it should be 2024 for everyone by the time this goes live, which will be what, like 11 PM here in Australia on the 1st. So at that point, you know, honestly, Happy New Year to everyone. Truly appreciate all the support I've had in the last year. It was a fantastic year, and this year, hopefully it's going to be a bit better. Hopefully, you know, the goal is 10k subs by the end of the year. And then, yeah, so that's my goals. Anyway, boys, let's jump into it. As I said, Flutter Mane has been Incineroar has been dethroned by Flutter Mane. We have had 4 tournaments here we're going to take a look at. Yeah, let's jump into it. So first one here, you know, was a 157 player tournament here a couple of days ago, right? And if we have a look over here, we go to the metagame and we see the boy Flutter Mane. I've been saying it. I think Incine's a good one. Don't get me wrong. But I think Flutter Mane was a bit better. It's a bit more splashable. It fits on more teams than Incine. Incine has competition, right? Entei is a fire type that's on the rise, right? There are other Intimidate mons like Lando I is still honestly pretty damn solid. And in general, you know, there are just mons that are just good into Incineroar. Whereas Flutter Mane, it's the same thing it's always been, right? It is the best fairy type in the format. It is a mon that is just free just to click specs, Moonblast, you know, booster energy, icy winds. It does a lot of stuff here. Flutter Mane is, in my opinion, the best mon in the game. I said it before. I even think heading into the restricted formats, Flutter Mane will still remain on top. But anyway, guys, let's take a look at some of the teams here that did good. As we see here, .1Q wins it with a 2-2-2 Dozo. I actually do believe this is one of 2 2-2-2 Dozos we're actually going to see today, which is actually, you know, kind of crazy. Obviously, look, the Italian players here, they're pretty sick. Everyone knows Italy has got, you know, some of the best players in the game. You see the Choice Scarf Chiyu plus the Choice Specs Flutter Mane, a very, very potent combo, right? Obviously, Bandit D-Knight plus Chien Pao. Obviously, we know what that does. And of course, Dondozo plus Tatsugiri, right? Great team. We all know what it does. We don't need to touch too much on that. But a cool thing here, though, is we do actually see a Metagross here in top 4. Now, I'm going to skip over this team here. Actually, I'm not. I didn't realize it was a Gouging Fire. I thought it was a Raging Bolt. Don't worry. We won't skip over this team here. This team here is actually also kind of cool, right? You've got, you know, a kind of like a balanced team, obviously, with the Gouging Fire here. And then you've got Howl plus, you know, Urshi with the Choice Scarf. Obviously, the Brian Hands here. And, of course, Amoongus. Just a really, really cool team. Obviously, a very, you know, physically oriented team with the Chien Pao pairing up with Fire. You know, Urshifu, Rapid Strike, and Inans, and of course Lando I is one of the best, you know, special attackers in the game right now. Really cool, like balanced offense team there. It is nice, but as I said, we want to jump into the into the Metagross, right? So, fun story. I'm actually building a Metagross team right now. I'm basically building around Metagross for a future video, right? The whole game plan is it's going to be my, you know, guide, I guess, or just teaching you guys how I kind of build teams. And the core piece of it was Metagross. For me, I do like looking at these Metagross teams because obviously, you know, it kind of helps me out with, you know, looking at things how, you know, the way I'm trying to build it and all that kind of stuff, right? So, as we see here, we have the Ogerpon Wellspring, just fantastic redirection mon. Seeing the Power Whip actually is kind of crazy. Normally, obviously, people opt for things like Horn Leech, but Power Whip does obviously give you a lot more power, which is obviously really good, especially if your opponent does get up things like, obviously, the Grassy Terrain for you, right? A Focus / Flutter Mane is also super interesting. We haven't really seen too much / Flutter Mane for a hot minute, but obviously, / Flutter Mane is definitely still really good, especially into some of the priority moves, right? For example, we're seeing things like, you know, Metagross with, obviously, Metagross plus paired up with Chien Pao, and those, you know, those bullet punches do quite a lot of damage, and that kind of stuff. So Flutter Mane, you know, with Sash, it's still good. Don't get me wrong. You can run max. You can be really quick. You could probably honestly even run it with Modest, but you probably shouldn't. But the main thing here I want to take a look at is this Metagross, right? Really, really cool. They have opted for the for the AV, which I do think is probably the best set right now. But then obviously here we see the Tera Fairy. Now this is actually the first Tera Fairy I've seen, but it is definitely, you know, on the short list of Terras I do think is good for this mon in particular, right? Obviously you're weak to Dark types, and there are a lot of good Dark types in the game right now. You know, you're looking at things like Chien Pao that sucker punches and whatnot. Obviously, you know, Urshifu Rapid I do think will be on the rise. I do think that one's also like really, really good. I think it's a massive sleeper right now. And of course, Incine's going for knockoff, right? Now you don't want to take 80% to a knockoff from an Incineroar. So obviously, if you're going to lose your AV, at least, you know, tank it a lot better. So really cool. Carmine Raging Bolt also I think is like really, really good. On one of the teams I've been looking at, I think Carmine Bolt plus Water Ogerpon and Metagross is a really, really good core. And I think things like Incine or Entei is the fire type on that team is really sick as well. But yeah, this just gives you like a really, really nice core where you've got this redirection one in Ogerpawn. You know, you've got this Calm Binder in Raging Bolt, which again, I think is like insane. This one's super, super good. Obviously, Lando is just there doing what it always does, right? It just hits really hard in the special end. And of course, Incineroar as well, right? He's got the Terra Dragon, the safety goggles giving you a better matchup into a Moongus, giving you a second one. That's pretty good there. And then, of course, just the standard set. But this team, yeah, it's sick. I really think the Ogerpawn plus Metagross and, you know, Raging Bolt is a really, really cool core together. Especially too, because, you know, like one of the ones that Raging Bolt doesn't necessarily want to deal with is Flutter Mane, because Flutter Manes can tank the Thunderclaps like decently well. But obviously, you know, Thunderclap plus Bullet Punch is just, it's not possible to tank it, right? So this is, yeah, really, really cool team here by Tekka. I think this is sick. Like this core here, I'm telling you guys right now, watch out for it. I think Calm Mind Raging Bolt is really good. And yeah, it's going to be a really, really cool team to see going forward. Snoosin here, I'm guessing this is like a super old school team here, right? With the Blood Moon, Ursaluna plus King Gambit. Let's take a look here, because I'm assuming this is just like obviously Instruct shenanigans. Oh, Ogerpawn Cornerstone with Woodhammer too. Okay. People are starting to realize that the 120 base powers is definitely still really, really good. Of course, here we got the Mental Herb plus Inner Focus, which means as long as you've got the redirection, you cannot be KO'd on the Oranguru, which is definitely good to see. Blood Moon Ursaluna, this mon next to Oranguru can absolutely wipe teams. Double Blood Moon is broken, and honestly should not work because you know you obviously can't click Blood Moon twice in a row. But obviously it works, so keep that in mind. Scarf Annihilate with Gambit, obviously really good, right? This stops the opponent from, you know, like potentially faking outing your ally and then going for a you know, going for a fake out into the Annihilate, for example, or the ally next to it, and then of course like taunting or, you know, firing off an attack into the Oranguru. Just that Annihilate, getting off that, you know, Scar Final Gambit, giving you a free switch into your Blood Moon or your King Gambit, whatever you want, obviously is very, very good. Wide Lens Serena, have not seen much of this mon. This is actually really, really interesting to see it here. Obviously, you know, Giraffe normally fills in that slot, or even like Bruxish we've seen in the past. But obviously Serena here with, you know, triple Axle is actually definitely a really cool tech. And then finally King Gambit, this one's really good. This one has such a good matchup into a lot of what's good right now. And yeah, I think it's just a sick one. Really, really cool Trick Room team here. Especially true, like if you call it double protect, like instructing the Sword Stance could actually be really brutal. But yeah, it's nice to see a Trick Room team actually perform really, really well here and get the top 4. Because I really feel like we haven't seen much Trick Room actually, you know, be that successful recently, right? Anyway, Sheik's team here, this is a pretty standard team, right? Let's be honest. This does feel kind of like the typical Latios, you know, offense, or like, you know, a Latios balance, if you want to call it that. You know, you've got your Ogerpawn Water, you've got your Incineroar, the Flutter Mane, the Lando, the Gambit, the Latios. Nothing too crazy to really go over here, I don't think. It all just looks super, yeah, it looks super standard. The choice specs plus Dazzling Gleam on Flutter Mane is really cool as a second form of speed control. I do really like that with things like Landorus, right? Especially if you do run this a bit faster. And obviously, you know, if your Landorus, say, for example, is getting outsped by something on the board, a great example is like potentially, let's say, you know, Chen Pouts, right? You can go for like a Timid Specs, Icy Wind, and that just allows you to obviously get that speed control for your Landorus to get off an attack, which I do think is very, very valuable, right? Anyways, do we have any other cool teams here? Oh yeah, well, a team like this, okay. I have actually tested a team like this myself. I think this is sick. So like you've got the Rain Core here with Torn, Lando, Urshifu. This has become like the super standard Rain Core. Because obviously I think like back in Reg D and E, Tornadus plus Urshi, I think most people would agree was like just the best, right? It was the best archetype in the game. It was really hard to deal with it. But coming into this format, obviously the biggest issue, you know, people are having is Raging Bolt, right? Because you can just like, you know, go for the Thunderclap into the Urshifu and it's just GG right there. It's rough, right? But what this team really allows like the Urshifu to kind of do, right, is you've got the Landorus, right? So you're like, okay, that just patches my Raging Bolt matchup, right? I'm a ground type. I'm going to one-shot you. You can't hit me with priority moves. And your best like Terra, if you're not going electric, is probably grass. If you go grass, I'm just going to kill you with Sludge Bomb, right? So Lando super good into the obviously into the Raging Bolt. But the other way of, you know, playing this kind of core as well is the Indeedee plus Iron Crown, right? Because Indeedee as a support alone on teams like this is just super good anyway. Like Indeedee going redirection is letting you like fire off massive hits. It's like really good. Then of course, obviously, you know, you've got the Iron Crown here with your Terra Psychic plus Expanding Force. This one absolutely slaps, right? Because a lot of them are going the special attack booster. So if you can kind of just like get off that Expanding Force in terrain, you do a lot of damage, right? And this core here really does kind of suck into like Rillaboom, obviously. And Chew absolutely cooked Rillaboom. That one is just straight up like awesome into it, right? Because obviously Urshi doesn't want to take on Rillaboom. These guys kind of don't. Like maybe if you catch it with a Tachyon Cutter on the switch in, you can like kind of deal with it. But really Chew plus Tornadus is your answer into it, especially with that, you know, that Terra Ghost there. Obviously makes the matchup a lot easier. So really cool team. Like definitely a team up my alley. And a team I might even try recreate in the near future as well, because that is kind of sick. I do really like that team there. Do we have anything else really we want to look at here? Seeing an Iron Bundle here is really good. I want to know if it's Pump or... Okay, it is Pump. So this is the... Actually, I wonder if this is the Terra... Sorry, the special attack booster set I've seen people running recently. This would be like really interesting if it is special attack booster. But yeah, I do think Iron Bundle has a super sick matchup right now into the metagame. This is one that's like really good. It matches up well into a lot of different things. And Icy Wind, you know, speed control is like super good, especially with Tornadus usage being down like a little bit. Like it's nothing too crazy. Like we have a look here, I'm sure Torn's still, you know, high up, right? Yeah, it's still 55 usages, right? But when you're talking about, you know, 150 odd teams, it's only 1/3 of the teams actually running Tornadus. So especially when you've got like this balanced core, like in balance versus balance, obviously Bundle is super sick. If this is also speed booster bundle as well, like this team could, you know, definitely have issues with with Urshifu if they position well around the Raging Bolt. And because of that, you know, like for example, if they're an adamant Urshifu, Timid max speed bundle will outspeed it in Tailwind anyway, and definitely threaten the one shot there, especially if they are Terra Water. But yeah, this is like a really cool take on balance, I think. Like you've got the Instant, you've got the Amoonguss, and then you've just got like 3 really hard hitters with like Life Orb Lando, Specs Flutter. Safety Goggles on this also gives you like an even better matchup into opposing what's it called, Amoonguss, this guy right here. So that's really cool. And then of course Bundle. I do think Encore would have been kind of cool in this set as well, but I think you kind of want Pump, I guess, to hit certain mons, because really, yeah, I mean, look, I think Pump's good, right? 80% of the time Hydro Pump is like a really good move, right? And then I guess finally here, just another Lardy team. We're not going to go over that there. I don't think we really need to touch on it. We did like, was it the exact, yeah, it's the exact same team as this one. We already spoke about it. Other cool tech I kind of see here actually is just the casual P2 on like a balancy offense team. I actually hate that this is like called, you know, considered balanced by some people. Like you've got the Insyn, Urshi, Rillaboom, just a really strong core. Again, those 2 big special attackers. And then I think P2 is just really cool because even if you don't use this as your Trick Room setter, right, this one is just still really bulky and it still hits really hard. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. I do think P2 is like an awesome one. Nothing else I really want to go into here. Registeel getting some plays here, 5 and 2. More Metagross. We're actually going to see a very similar team to this, I think, one of the next events as well. But yeah, Bravado as well. Bravado, fellow Australian player, top 4, I believe it was at Brizzy. Running basically the same team as he had in the past, except he swapped out the oh, okay, yeah. So he swapped out the Armarouge for the Hatterene here, which is definitely really cool. I do know he loves his Scythe here, so it is cool to see him still playing that. But anyway, let's jump over to one of the other tours here because, you know, obviously went pretty a bit longer on that one than I thought we would. I do want to try to go through these quick because there are like 4 different events I want to look at. So we see here again VGC Trainer School. Just going to show it off again, boys. Flutter Mane, it barely is number 1, but it's number 1 for a good reason. This one is great. Has a high win rate too, so you know, whatever. I'm happy. I called it. I said this one was good. Obviously we see Insyn win this event here though. Oh, we actually see Flutter Mane win it too. But yeah, this is a really cool team here as well because I think Volk actually as a fire type is like really good right now. Just because like obviously Terra Dragon's like sick on these fire types. But not to mention Quiverance is just good. Like the more I'm playing Regulation F, the more I'm realizing how good setup feels right now. Like when you're playing with mons like Insyn Rilla, setup feels super good. Like it is basically the way you break other balanced teams, right? Like if you're playing like Insyn Rilla matchups, mirrors, the way you win is by setup. And I'll probably even make a video in the near future as well talking about why setup is like so good right now. But I do feel like the way you break a lot of these teams is set up, and having something like Quiverance is just super sick, right? Because, you know, you've got the Intimidate mon, right? You've got, you know, a Terra here that resists the Urshifu, which is the only way really to break your protects. And then on top of that as well, you got Flame Body. So if you go like Terra Dragon plus Flame Body, Urshifu, you know, it goes for his Surging Strikes. His game's basically over. You know, you use the Insyn, you use the Amoonguss, you pivot around, you heal up the Volcarona. It's just going to win the game. So this team here is really sick. Again, we see the Specs Flutter Mane with the Icy Wind, cool tech. Brian Hands is getting play again. I don't know if I actually said it in a video, but I was talking to the homies the other day about it. Brian Hands usage going down to me is always so crazy because the same thing happened, I think, in Regulation F, where people were like, oh, Brian Hands, like, how's it gonna, you know, work? Urshifu and Rain, blah, blah, blah. Nah, it doesn't. Like, Iron Hands is still him. He went from, like, literally not getting played to, like, being the most used mon at some events at the back end of even Reg E. This man is still good. Iron Hands, don't forget about this guy when you're building teams, guys. I know, you know, we got Raging Bolt. It's a cool new electric type, you know, but Brian Hands is still him. Don't forget that, yeah? Another 2/2/2 Dozo kind of here. Actually, not really 2/2/2 Dozo. You've got, you know, Dozo plus Glamora with the Qian Pao D-Knight. We have seen this team kind of pick up as well. Oh, sorry, not this team, these mons in particular. Ogerporn, I think, does like super well with this kind of team because the way you kind of beat the Qian Paos, right, is leading things, for example, you know, like the, what's his name? Arcanine, right? Like Hisuian Arcanine in the past, which I don't think is as good, obviously, with Insyn in the game now. But obviously, you know, having Covert Cloak plus this makes you just like super good into Insyn because you just go for that superpower off rip. And if they go for something like Terra Water potentially, obviously, yeah, you just go for the big Ivy Cudgels, right? Obviously really, really good. But yeah, seeing Dozo do so well at 2 events already is definitely scary. And everyone was kind of like going for Entei as the new D-Knight friend. Don't forget, boys, like do not forget that, you know, D-Knight is still a thing, right? He still hits a lot harder. That's one thing I see a lot of people saying, like, oh, like Entei's better. Like, Entei is better in my opinion because like the AV plus Sacred Fire sets are really good, but D-Knight hits for like, it has like 20 more base attack, which is still like really, really good, yeah. Don't forget about that one. Then we have I've seen these things before. This is kind of like your hybrid Trick Room, yeah. Again, Brian Hands, boys. He's up there. Wait, I just wanted to, yeah, so Instant was there. So I wanted to double check, make sure this was definitely a Reg F tour. It says it there anyway. Because I'm like, wait a minute, like another, you know, no Reg F team. But yeah, teams like this are really, really cool. I do think the plot Chiyu is really good right now. It's definitely something that's probably a little slept on. Again, I think setup is like really good in metagames like this, right? You know, Terra Grass is also really nice. You know, you've got the Protect there. So yeah, really, really cool play there on the Chiyu. Leftovers is interesting. I personally do like Berry when I'm playing the plot set, just so you can make sure you're out of like, you know, Urshifu's attack range. Like, not out of the range, but you know, you can use the, you know, the Citrus Berry to make sure you don't just die to Surging Strikes. But that's cool. Again, we see more Brian Hands with the Giraffe, the Ursaluna. It is good to see regular Ursaluna coming back as well. I feel like, you know, I feel like we were seeing, you know, a lot more of the Blood Moon for a bit, but obviously people are like realizing, hey, Flame Lord's Guts is still like really, really good. More Flutter Mane. I'm a huge fan of the booster speed Flutter Mane, especially on a team like this, because you know, you've got the Ogre Point, you've got the Chiyu, who, you know, they're not bad under Trick Room because chances are they're both running pretty slow on this team. But obviously, you know, as long as you're still running around that 130 to 140 mark, as long as you get, you know, that Icy Wind off, like I'm pretty sure, like off memory, like 137 is the speed tier you might want to hit on like a Chiyu, which is like pretty good. Because then you can invest like, you know, like 137 is not that hard to hit. And if you're going against opposing offense, like it's actually still pretty decent under Trick Room. But yeah, it's a cool team. You know, Flutterfish, one of my favorite cores. So yeah, it's cool to see it, especially even on a Trick Room team like that. Have a look here, Raging Bolt. This is just standard, like, good stuff, right? I'm not going to go too in-depth on this. You see the Calm Mind Raging Bolt here with Leftovers. Really good set, especially with Terra Grass. You know, you see the Insyn, the Urshi, the Rillaboom, the Flutter Mane, you know, the Tornadus. Just good stuff. I'm not going to go too in-depth on that one. This one here, too, is that the team we just looked at? No, that's Ranky's team. Okay, this team here is also just good stuff. I also want to, like, make sure I'm checking these Urshifus as well. I want to make sure they're not dark. Are you dark? Okay, this is dark. So this is what I'm saying. Reiki do as well, actually. He's like a really, really good Urshi Dark player. But yeah, no, I've seen Urshifu Dark do a lot of work. I think this mon's really good. I think people really sleep on Urshi Dark. I don't know why. Like everyone still like, obviously Urshi Rapid I think is better right now, right? I'm not going to sit here and say it's not. But everyone like really just get like harps on this Urshi Rapid. Urshi Dark's good, man. This one does a lot of freaking damage. Like, do not underestimate Urshifu Dark with Terra Dark, boys. I think it's sick. But other than that, again, this is just balanced good stuff, right? You've got the Sash Shifu, you've got the 2, you know, powerful special attackers. I'm assuming this is Speed Booster because obviously, you know, we're going with the Icy Wind. Again, Speed Booster feels super good right now if you're not running Tailwind because you've got this Urshi, you've got this Lando, right? Even like the Ogre Pawn is like, you know, relatively speedy. So having like, you know, a pretty good balanced team where your speed control is Icy Wind Flutter is honestly not too bad, right? Raging Bolt plus good stuff. So this is one of those Entei teams. I think this is actually just a straight rip from that team that won the Tommy Tuesdays tour, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is just a straight rip, yeah, because it was like Ice Spinner, it was Ogre Pawn Water. Yeah. This is, again, good stuff. We went over this the other day. Really good team. Obviously, it's had results. I have also done a showcase with this on the other channel as well. So if you're interested, you can see like my breakdown of the team and, you know, see the way I EV it and kind of explain why I do EV it. So that's there if you want to check that out. And then finally, I guess, just more good stuff, right? Also, I just realized you can see it's Urshi Dark, that's Urshi Rapid. Anything cool I want to look at here? I guess we do have a Rain team here. You know, a little bit of Archaladon here. Pretty standard Rain team, though, with the Pelipper instead of the Tornadus. It's just good stuff. Shroom, Insyn, Qian Pao, you know, all really good. A lot of these mons really like, outside of like Insyn, the rest of them all like Rain, obviously, defensively. Amogus being a Grass type, Qian Pao being Ice type, neither one like the Fire type. So having Rain obviously helps them out a lot there defensively. Archaladon, dude, this mon's just a good one. Like stamina plus body press is like really good, and then obviously Rain plus Electro Shot is also kind of insane because especially too if you position this next to Amogus and Insane and kind of just like start getting up Electro Shots, this one is really hard. Like you can't let this one just kind of sit there freely. And then as well, like if you ever hit it with like an Urshi Rapid, get it to +3, you're just gonna start doing a lot of damage on the back of that body press. So yeah, really cool team. This is definitely a team I want to try it in the near future on the channel as well. Anything else? I guess we'll look at the Metagross team here, and then we'll probably move on. More Volcarona as well, actually. We'll check out these Metagross teams because I think it's good. Yeah, basically the same team we looked at before, right? You actually, dude, this is the same 6 I have in my builder. No, dude, this was the this is literally the exact 6 mons I was about to show off in my upcoming video. That's nah, there's no way this team got stolen off ladder from me because I did get this team to like roughly 1500, but I don't think it would have been taken from me. I don't think I'm big enough name for that. But yeah, really cool team. I actually, yeah, damn, that's actually kind of sad. I thought I was like going to be first with this core of 6. Apparently I'm not. That's fine. That's fun. But yeah, I'll talk about that in a future video, probably tomorrow, if not the day after, if I'm being honest. But yeah, nothing too much else that I want to touch on. Let's have a look. So that was the 500 player tournament as well. So let's check out this one. Tom Hayden wins it, which is cool to see. No, sorry, he organized it. Sorry. Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay, we don't need to talk about this one. I just realized this is the Hitmon League tournament or something like that. I think Judy Azzarelli also had a part in. I think Judy played in it, so we'll skip that. I lied, boys. I'm sorry. I said there was 4 events. There's only 3. I do apologize for that. And then finally, Kai the homie, a fellow Australian, does a lot for the community. It's good to see him out here, hosting some Regulation F tours. And we see here a really cool Golden Go plus Regidrago team. I was actually literally talking to the homie Lukey about this like 2 days ago. This core is still so good. I think gold, like as always, gold, it kind of drops off at the start of a meta, and then people start realizing how good this mon is. Like Plot plus Life Orb is insanely good. Regidrago as well, really good mon. Like that mon just pumps out so much damage if you can get rid of the Flutter Manes. And how do you get rid of the Flutter Manes? Well, you got the double grass plus the Urshi Rapid there. You have a lot of mons that can really threaten the Flutter Mane and set up the Regidrago in the late game. Obviously Tailwind plus Icy Wind as well is really solid. But yeah, that's a really cool team there to see. Another Dozo here, but this time with the Entei over the D-Knight. Pretty cool team here, obviously. What am I missing? Tornadus, that's the cool one here. So you got like Tornadus Sun plus like Entei Raging Bolt, and then of course like Chien-Pao plus Entei as well, the Banded Entei as well, I should say. Dude, Terra Normal Giga Impact, dude. I love seeing stuff like this because everyone's so scared of the E-Speed, but then they just hit you with this, Terra Normal Giga Impact, and it's just like GG. You put it next to the Chien-Pao, you protect, and then you just cycle around and just get it in again. Really cool team though. It does actually pain me to see so many Dondozos here doing so well though, I'm not gonna lie. Dude, is this the same team that I was just talking about? Yeah, it is. I think the only difference is mine is grass. Actually, no, I just realized. I actually need to go back. Michael, I'm sorry, we'll get back to you in a second. Really good player. My team is Calm Mind. Is that the difference between me and this guy? I should have checked that before. Okay, mine's Calm Mind, boys. We're still good. We're still good. Actually, no. Mine also has Rillaboom. Don't worry. I'm an idiot. You can tell I'm got too much energy right now, boys. Too much energy. Yeah, okay, so that's fine. Mine had Calm Mind, Raging Bolt, and it's Terra Grass. Awesome to note. But yeah, look, we just touched on this team already. Terra Electric, really cool, obviously. Terra Dragon, to me, Dragon's interesting because you already have like a 50-50 matchup against Flutter Mane that I don't love this. Like, I get it, it's good against the fire types, but like, that's it. I feel like water is just better, maybe. Because I did look at Dragon, but I think water's better. Grass also might be... no, grass isn't that good, I don't think. But interesting. But yeah, nah, pretty cool team. I love the Terra Stella Chien-Pao. I don't know if I touched on it. I actually think this is super sick. The main reason for it is like a lot of these Flutter Manes, like obviously calc to live like, the Icicle Crashes, which is definitely like really good. And a lot of the time too, I feel like my Sacred Sword, like when I click it, just doesn't do enough damage. There's always these KOs I want to go for, and I'm like, damn, if only it was stab, it would pick up. So I do think Chien-Pao is obviously one of the best, right? Having that stab Sucker Punch as well to clean up a Flutter Mane sick. Having the stab Ice Crash to pick it up if, you're pretty confident about speed tiers are sick. Because a lot of the time as well, unless a Flutter Mane is like Timid Specs, you will be faster. I would assume on this team that Flutter Mane is faster than Chien-Pao, just because obviously it is Specs plus Icy Wind, which would kind of lead me to think it is probably a Timid set with like roughly 190 speed. But yeah, Chien-Pao obviously just super sick. And then yeah, like the Incin plus Ogre Poured Water, it's just a good core, right? We touched on it before. Don't want to go too far into it. Mr. Rishi, actually really cool seeing Rishi here. I've known Rishi for years. We both played Temtem together. I've played this man many times in Temtem. So it is cool to see him actually doing really good here. And obviously too, he's actually brought a Regulation B team plus Ninetales. So that's kind of cool to see, I guess. Oh yeah, be a Regulation B team. Iron Moth getting Meteor Beam is actually like really cool as well. 3, pretty powerful attacks, and no poison attack that was actually kind of interesting. Amoonguss, Gyarados, dude, I actually think Gyarados is another one that does not get enough love right now. I mean, Gyarados is like always going to be a good one, right? But it's just like, it's an Intimidate one that walls out, Urshifu Rapid Strike, which is obviously fantastic. Taunt and T-Wave are obviously really good. And then like T-Wave plus like Iron Head and Waterfall is just like obviously power flinching. Also just like Terra Steel makes it really good into Flutter Mane as well. Like this mod has so much special bulk. And Helmet is like really sick. Dude, Rishi cooking here, actually. Iron Hands, we see it again, it's good mon, dude. Clear Amulet plus Sword Stance here, sick. I've been a huge fan of Clear Amulet SD backs for a while, just because Ice Shard with Clear Amulet can actually pick up Landorus's. Depending on their bulk and depending on the role, you're a chance to just straight up one-shot them, which is obviously really, really cool. Then, of course, Alola Ninetales, it's your speed control, it's your Aurora Veil. It's a cool team, dude. Anything else cool here? Dude, another Ninetales? Dude, 2 Ninetales in top 8, like one of them in top 4 is actually also really, really cool, man. Seeing bundle with the, I'm assuming this is the booster special attack set, right? Because you go booster special attack with Ice and Blizzard. It also could just straight up be a booster speed, simply because obviously, as I said before, you want to pick up those Urshis even in Tailwind. Especially too if they're going to obviously go for things like Rain Dance to try and mess with your obviously mess with your Aurora Veil going up, right? But look, a pretty cool balance team here. It's good to see Heatran coming back as well. Heatran's always going to be one of those ones where it falls off because everyone's like, oh, Incin, that's my fire type. Entei's also the other new cool fire type. Let's use these fire types. But then you just realize like, hey, Heatran is just a really good fire type into other fire types, right? That one's like really, really sick. Dude, this team here is actually also cooking. Holy crap. So you just got like a casual Metagross on this team with Banded. Dude, one of the guys in a Discord I was in was talking about this the other day. The Terra, sorry, in my Discord actually. Terra normal Banded Explosion is actually like really interesting, especially next to like Flutter Mane. I also really like this Flutter Mane set as well, where like I've noticed a lot of people are dropping Dazzle and Gleam right now. I'm not too sure why, because I do think Gleam is like obviously still really nice for cleaning up games. But in saying that, I'm also a HO pig who likes to just deal a lot of damage. And having a Flutter Mane come in and just like Dazzle and Gleam and pick up something on 20% is always like super, super valuable, right? But yeah, seeing like normal Banded Explosion sick. Booster Stellar Terra Flutter Mane. I know a few people have been saying like Booster Terra Stellar is actually really cool, because you can actually like, you know, obviously go for like the Stab Moonblast, pick something up, and then you go for the Stab Shadow Ball and pick something up. I also think Taunt Flutter Mane is also just a really good option as well. Ice Beam, Scald, and Snarl. This one is just really good. If you let the Suicune sit there for a long time, it's really bulky, right? You've got the lefties, you've got the inner focus, right? If it gets up the Tailwind, it just sits there spamming these 2 moves. Like if you burn like a physical attacker, GG, right? It's also pretty good into Incin as well, because you can 2-shot it with Scald. Obviously as well, like Ice Beam is just like really good into some ones as well, like the Landorus is running around, forces into Terra, which is nice. We see the Life or Bolt as well. We see Lardy here do double Tailwind. Lardy plus Suicune is actually kind of PogChamp as well. We see the Aura Sphere as well. That's actually really interesting. I wonder if that's like specifically for like Incin plus like Gambit, right? You would assume so, because you got the Terra Steel there, which is also pretty decent. But yeah, like really, really cool Lardy. I'll sit here. I do like seeing Lardy, you know, getting more play. No Recover's kind of interesting, but I guess Protect is obviously really good always. And then even an Assault Vest Incin, dude. This guy's cooking, man. Blitz plus U-Turn. I mean, look, it's a good set, right? If you don't want to like, you know, go the parting shot stuff, obviously having U-Turn is definitely really solid, right? Do we have any other cool teams here? Another Volcarona, dude. I'm gonna have to make a video about like these mons that are underrated, dude. Iron Hands again. Brian Hands is on the rise, boys. I'm gonna have to check the usage stats after this. Actually, I don't think we even looked at this. Let me pull this up here. Just show you this again. Flutter Mane, once again, most used mon. It is still just winning. Yeah, it is still just winning, right? But yeah, dude, seeing the, again, like this Leftovers Flame Body set with Terra Dragon is like super sick. Like Giga Drain's also like really nice as well, because you get up to QD and then you just start like healing stuff back, right? It was very similar to how I played Ogerpon Water and Reg E at Brisbane. Just like, you know, use like Fake Out Cycling plus like SD and then just start Horn Leeching everything so they can't kill you. But yeah, Specs Flutter Mane, it's good. We know what it does. Helmet Amoonguss, it's good. Brian Hands, it's good. How many Brian Hands is that actually? Brian Hands here, Brian Hands here. Is it just the 3 Brian? Okay, 3 Brian Hands in top 8, boys. Don't forget about it. And then I guess the final team we'll look at here, dude, another Registeel. This is one I've also been theory crafting a bit around recently. Like the Registeel plus Crest teams are super hard to deal with, like super, super hard to deal with, right? Because no one's really running Haze anymore. And if you really want to get rid of your opponent's buffs, which again, I think is really good. If you're running Amoonguss, run Clear Smog, because I do think like setup right now is like the best it's been in a very long time. But like, you know, having Crest there saying like, hey, you can't like Clear Smog me. This mod is going to sit there with Leftovers. It's going to have the grassy terrain, right? You cycle between the Rillaboom and the Cresselia. You Lunar Blessing it up. You get it on the Trick Room. Registeel is insanely hard to deal with, right? You got the Rilla, you got the Incin, you got the Registeel. Like, even like the Scarf Urshi, right? It's like, oh, if you're too worried about Registeel, you're just going to get like swept by like the Urshi or the Lando, right? Really, really cool team here. Like, it's just kind of centered around like, hey, I've got these 2 huge attackers. I've got these 3 really good defensive pieces that all like actually put out quite a bit of damage, right? Like, again, the Ice Beams into like the Lando Eyes is like really solid for Crest. Psychic's really good into like obviously the Amoongusses, right? Like Safety Goggles plus Psychic, you're gonna like probably not gonna 2-shot most Cresses, because I think Cresses will start running a bit more special bulk for the Landorus Incarnates, but yeah, definitely like a really cool team here, dude. Like, again, I think like Ruler Instant plus setup is super good right now. Super, super good. Is there anything else really worth touching on? I mean, we see another Registeel here, the exact same team by the looks of it. Our first Whimsicott actually in a hot minute. That actually pains me because I love Whimsicott. I'm building around. I think it's sick. Whimsicott plus Primarina. Is this a Trick Room Whimsicott? Okay, no, it's just the, okay, oh, I see it. So it's like a beat up Moonblast set, and you're pairing it with 8 plus like Indeedee. So like Indeedee's like your Trick Room option on this team, because like Iron Crown, while it's like still obviously like pretty decent, like Redirection plus like E-Force, if you can get it under Trick Room and then pair it up with the Primarina and the Unilip, you still do like a lot of work in like a Trick Room team. Primarina's another like really slept on one as well, I think. I might actually even make a video in the next couple of days just talking about like some of the most underrated ones. But yeah, that's like some really, really cool teams. Is there anything else? Like seeing Roaring Moon's cool as well. A little more Whims. Like it actually pains me not seeing like more Whims getting more results. It actually kind of sucks. Anything interesting here? They really need to figure out how to split Ogerpawn. I hate seeing 36 Ogerpawns. Like how many of them are water, how many are fire, how many are like just the teal mask, and how many are stone form, yeah? I really need to know. Who's like winning on the win rates here though? Urshi Rapid, I mean it stays winning, dude. Amoonguss, 57% is actually really cool as well. 54 on Golden Joe. Let's actually take a look at some of the other events as well. I just want to take a quick look at the win rates here before we kind of jump out and, you know, wrap up the video. 53 on Lando I is solid. Okay, Rillaboom being plus 50 is actually nice to see. Chen Power's another really good anti-meta mon, I think. Like, Ice just feels super good right now. Same with, like, Iron Bundle. The hard point is they're just so bad defensively that you want to sash them, but Bundle needs the boost to speed. But obviously, because of that, Chen Power's good. D-Knight Stonks Rising as well, actually. That's also, like, really, really nice. Urshi Duck, dude, I'm telling you, boys. Urshi Duck's good. Look at that, 57% win rate, man. 57%. This one is, like, the sleeper. We see Reiki doing good here, dude. A lot of teams going good. Are they all Sash? Let's check that out. So, your Sash... Is Sash the Source Boys? Sash, yeah. Okay, maybe Sash Dark Urshi's the Source Boys. Black Glass is there. I've also been absolutely cooked by Bandit on Tailwind as well. Sash. Okay, maybe Sash Dark Urshi Shrew needs to be on the list of ones to try. Brian Hands feels bad, my guy. But yeah, look, I'm going to wrap it up there, guys. I've been rambling on for like a good, what, half an hour or so at this point. So yeah, basically that's what's happening in the metagame right now, boys. A lot of things on the rise, you know. Flutter Mane again is probably going to be the thumbnail. It's back to the #1 usage. I'm not shocked. I think Incid's a really good one still. I think it's fantastic. I think it enables what will probably be the best archetype, which is going to be like balanced setup. I really think setup is like the way to go if you want to win in this format right now, because setup is also really good against like HO. Like if you go up against like a Torn Urshi, just fake out the Urshi, set up a fucking, you know, a Calm Mind, a nasty plot, whatever, and then like just threaten from there, right? It's really good. As long as you've got like a setup one with a defensive Terra into Urshi, because that's really the biggest way to break it right now, in my opinion. I do think it's really good. And also as well, a way to kind of stop like Whimsicott from, you know, kind of locking you into your, yeah, like encoring you in is like also pretty damn good, I think. But anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. Let me know what you think down below. And yeah, catch you to the next one. Peace.